from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus said to his disciples, "Whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. What profit will there be for one to gain the whole world and forfeit his life? Or what can one give in exchange for his life? For the Son of Man will come with his angels in his Father's glory, and then he will repay each according to his conduct. Amen, I say to you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
What can one give in exchange for his life? This really goes in line with the thought that I was developing last Sunday on our homily. The question about our lives and possessions and what do we really possess that we could claim to be ours. And then I was making the argument that you could present to me anything and everything that you will presume to be something that is yours, and I could make arguments against that belief so that you may realize that we really have nothing that we can claim our own. Even our own very lives, it's not ours. In today's gospel, you see it very clearly. What can one give in exchange for his life? Meaning, life is not yours. What can you give in exchange for that life that is not yours? Well, that's the big question. So, one, I want to make sure that we stay in that humble position of recognizing that this illusion of possessions, something that is mine, is all just an illusion. And then in that humility to recognize that everything that we claim as ours, everything we have or think we possess, everything including our life, is simply a gift from God. Your very life is a gift from God. And to think of it more as this gift has been entrusted to you. You are the steward, the administrator of this gift, the gift of your life, but all the other gifts you may receive. Let it be the gift of your health, of loved ones, of possessions, of talents, of goods. These are all gifts from God that have been entrusted to your care as an administrator, which means three main things here. And here we go to the parable of the talents. What did you do with the talents? Did you bury them? Did you invest on them? Did you develop them? Did you brought the maximum potential that you can out of those many gifts that God has given you? Gifts that has been entrusted to your care, but as we heard it also today, the Son of Man will come with his angels in his Father's glory, and then he will repay each one according to his conduct. We will be held accountable. We will be asked, what did you do with the gifts that were entrusted to you? We will be judged, and we will have to give an account for it. So, do we take the gift of our lives and everything we have, possessions, money, gifts, talents, do we invest in it? Do we develop them? Do we grow in them? Do we share them? Because that will be part of what will be asked of us. What did you do? And what fruitfulness did it brought about? So here's the second principle, not just the first principle that really we have nothing. Everything is a gift from God. It's been entrusted to us. We have to develop it, and we will be held accountable for it. But the second element, that all gifts that have been entrusted are for the common good. All of them. Your life has been entrusted to your care so that your life can be a cause of a greater good and the good of others. not just yours. Now, in that comes this very big question. As you read the gospel today, you see this parallel between whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself, take up his cross and follow me. Whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. What profit will there be one to gain the whole world and forfeit his life? Ultimately, there is a question that is asked of us. What type of life you're aiming for with the gifts that has been entrusted to you? Am I aiming just for the good worldly life? Luxury, pleasures, comfort, material things, possessions, fame, power, influence, popularity, esteem, applause, the worldly life? Or are you aiming for the real good life, the life that is a life worth living, the life that is fulfilling, the life that is meaningful, purposeful, the life where you're taking everything that's been entrusted to you and you develop it to the maximum potential that you're able to for the common good, so that when the time comes that you are judged, you can stand before the Lord and say, Lord, you know I did everything within my power with the gift you've given me and the circumstances in which you placed me, and I made the best out of it, not just for myself, but for the common good. That life, and where you're often denying yourself as to develop a good and making that good a common good. It is in that same principle that, some people ask me, Father, in the midst of you being a pastor, St. Rita, and all the different appointments and responsibility, you're also studying? Why? Because I feel that's a gift that the Father has entrusted me. And in the ends of time, I will be held accountable. With that gift, did you develop it? Did you study? Did you develop your intellectual capacities to your maximum capacities? I'll be able to say, Lord, you know I did. Boy, it was not easy, but I did, Lord. One that I dread tremendously is the gift of art. I often don't have the time to develop the art. So, Lord, it's going to be a tough one. When he asked me, what did you do with the artistic gifts that I gave you? Well, at least I've been singing in Mass. I find creative ways to preach, but I know I have more gifts there that I'm not exploring. So there, Lord, just help me. So in that spirit, let's see how my project goes in painting the mural of our Blessed Mother for the Wayside Shrine, so that at least I could appease my mind, saying, Lord, I'm really trying with the limited time you've given me to develop the talent to the best of my abilities. Watch the mural be a disaster. So, okay, well, at least I'm trying. But that's the idea. Now you will say, well, where do you find the time? And here we go to that principle. Whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself. You see, ultimately for us who grow in the meaningful, purposeful, fulfilling life, we often have to deny ourselves. Like, I would prefer to sit with my lazy boy and watch binge a bunch of Netflix episodes on my favorite movies and just relax, have my popcorn, and then when there's an emergency, someone else will take care of it, whatever, who cares? And you gotta deny yourself. And there's also the importance of the practice of fasting. We often just leave that for Lent. Fasting is something that we need to be doing regularly. And it's the practice of denying ourselves. And to deny ourselves good things, not because they're bad, but good things. So that in the process of denying ourselves of good things, we can grow in that willpower to when bad things are presented to us, we have the willpower to say no. Be careful here. Yes, we fast as to grow in that muscle of the willpower. But careful not to think that salvation is a self-help project. This is all by grace. So when you're doing the fasting and you deny yourself good things so as to grow in the ability to say no when the bad things are presented, it's something that you're doing in collaboration with God. You're picking up your cross and following after him. It's not something to enlarge yourself. Oh, look how much willpower I have. And when we think that way, it won't take too long for the Lord to allow something that will either humble you or humiliate you to recognize that you're still in need of God's mercy. With that, I want to finish with something. After my long hours of sanctifying Thursday of confessions and spiritual direction, just a gentle reminder for all of us that I think part of God's plan for our own salvation, in a very strange way, he allows us, even with our best attempts, to still struggle. And each one will have its own, what's the expression? Your Achilles heel. Your spot where you just struggle with. And then you probably will say, Lord, when will I be over with this struggle that I have? And you might just hear again the words that God said to Paul. My grace is sufficient for you. For it is in your weakness that his power, God's power, is manifested. There is a goodness in the midst of your struggles. Even when the struggle continues to lead you into sin, there's something good in it. You say, what? There's something good in the sin? Well, above all, the humility that you draw out of that painful experience. See, let's say you were able to conquer whatever struggles you have, and you have no more struggles. Knowing our human condition, you're going to get caught up with pride. Think you got all figured out. And if you're caught up in pride, you just lost your soul to pride. There is no pride in heaven. And if there's something that caused the fall and Satan to have his own army, is pride. So if God allows you to struggle with something, well, even in that, there is a blessing and a grace. The grace of humility. You're not done. The grace of humility to know you are dependent totally in God's mercy. And to come humbly before the Lord and say, Lord, I'm really trying. Help me. Now, that does not mean that you're not doing your part. Part of the fasting and denying yourself of good things on a regular basis is to grow in the ability to strengthen that willpower muscle in collaboration with the grace of God, so that less and less you fall into that temptation. Now, will the day come that we will have to struggle with whatever sins? And by the way, they're the same sins. After hearing confession for 19 years, we all confess the same sins. There's nothing creative about our human nature. And actually, there's a common trend in what a female will confess and what a man confess. But I think you will figure out that on your own. But for now, am I living a life in which I choose the greater life, the eternal life, the meaningful, purposeful, the one that is a life fulfilling, but that it implies within itself a life of denying myself of good things, so as to be strengthened in denying the bad things when they come, but also in the humility that knowing that it's all in God's grace and in his mercy. That in the end, it is the Lord who saves us in our collaboration with him as we pick up our crosses, deny ourselves, and follow after him. And not to forget, in the end, this life you claim to be yours, it's not really yours. It's God's life entrusted to your care to make the best out of it, to invest and work hard on it, to bring it to the fullest of potential. But in the end, it's not yours. May we grow in that humility, trust in God's divine providence, trust in his mercy, and continue fighting the good fight with humility, knowing that in the end, it is all God's, his mercy, his grace, to which we're called to participate.